Okay, hi, and welcome to another J. Robinson Art Peel-Off painting project. Today, what we're going to be painting is what I'd like to call Beach Bird. Now, it's not going to be an actual bird. He's going to kind of look a little bit like a seagull, but for art purposes, we're going to be using colors that won't necessarily be realism of what the bird will look like. But I think you're going to have fun nonetheless. So before we get started, let's always take a quick look at our supplies and make sure that we have everything. We have our spatula, which we use to peel up our peel off. We have a plastic apron in a bag, which you should put on. Make sure that nothing splatters on your wonderful clothing. We have a paper towel that I like to keep folded. We have a sheet that's included in the packet that has a very silky, glossy side, and that's your palette sheet, which is going to be used to hold your paints. We have our paints, which we'll be using 4 colors today, which is blue, white, it's a burnt umber, and a raw sienna. Then I gave you 2 brushes. This will be the one we're going to do most of the background with in the bird. This is for decorative purposes. And of course, we have our 8x10 canvas panel with our peel-off image already affixed to the canvas. So let's get started. First, I'm going to open up the packet. I'm going to dump out all of the paints in the paint packets. And basically, we're going to be starting with the white, blue, sienna, and then the burnt umber. So let's do it in that order. So let's open up the white, and you just simply squeeze out the paint. Or you could even dip the brush into the packet, depending on what you're trying to do with it. But for this, we're going to be squeezing out some white. That should be enough. Move the rest out of my way. Here's the blue. We're going to squeeze out some blue. And that should be enough. Then we're going to squeeze out the raw sienna, which is going to primarily be our beach color. Our beach sand. And then we're going to squeeze out just a little bit of the burnt umber. We're going to have a little bit of fun with that. So now we have our colors out and we're ready to go. I like to first decide where everything is going to be. So let's separate the beach from the actual water. So let's take a little bit of white. You're not going to be able to really see it, but it's going to take a line and kind of go a little horizontally, a little like this, like that. There you go. But not a straight line. Okay. That's going to be where my water is. This is going to be my ocean, and this is going to be my beach. So with that being established, let's just take some of this raw sienna, and let's just start putting some of that on the canvas. I'm just going to go left to right till I come back down to that water line that I created. I want this to have a hodgepodge of values, so I'm going to mix it with some white so that some of the sand is light back here and dark in some areas. And I'm just going to keep bringing that up, painting right over the peel off, allowing the colors to be, like I said, not all the same distinct color as if you're painting a wall. So I want it to have streaks of light, dark, different values. So I'm just going to keep whisking the brush like so, adding in every now and then a little bit of white, going back and adding a little bit of sienna, and then just letting that marbleize, if you will. You see how it's light, dark, then it has streak value? That's really good right there. Because this is behind the bird. So this is really good. Oops, sorry about that. Did not mean for that to happen. Just wipe that off really quick. Go back to painting, streaking in some color. There you go. Oh, that looks great. That looks great. Now, as I get closer, it's not so much that I want it to be solid, but I want it to be a lot darker here, because this is really right up close. So this is kind of like in the distance. So up here, I want it to be a little bit stronger in that sienna color. I'm going to bring that right down to the shoreline. There you go, right here, like that. There you go. There, that looks great. That's it. Simple. You could even take a little bit of blue and a little bit of white, mix up a very, very light color. You could even introduce some of that into one side, as if the water may have reached that far at one point. Come over here a little bit, take some more white, mix that in so that the color is not so bold, just to add a little tint of just a little coloration there. There you go. That works for me. And this is about right. Yeah, that's fine. Maybe a little bit more white over here. Yeah, just to take that down just a notch. Put a little bit of sienna back there. All right. This is good. Now let's do the water part. So now what we're going to do is just wipe off our brush. And I did forget to mention to you that off camera, I have a cup of water here. So I'm going to take my brush, just gently put it into the water, knock it from side to side, wipe off the color. And now I'm going to pick up some blue. And I'm going to start down here at the bottom and work my way forward. But I'm going to take and make sure that I mix that with some white, because I want my ocean water to be kind of light, not totally one solid color of blue. And blue's a very strong color, so perhaps that little bit of blue that I put at the bottom will be enough to come up to the shore. But just stretching it with some white. There you go, see? And we'll let that come right here to where I made that white line. Just let it thin itself out. Some white on the brush, pushing some of that blue, and there we have our water. Or should I say, our ocean. There. That looks good to me. Yep. Just gonna make sure I get all the way down to the bottom. There. Now let's clean off the brush again, because I want to reestablish my white line here. So I'm going to take and clean off some of this sienna that's here. Pick up some white. And I'm just going to run a line right along the shoreline again, just to help bring that foam into action. Right there, like that. That's good. And that's the water. All right. So now that we have our established beach and we have our ocean, you can now start to decorate it before you peel up and say, okay, let's put some dark streaks into the ocean just to give movement to the water. So you see I'm just putting some darker lines right into the water just to kind of give movement. And maybe there's a little bit on this side. A couple of lines here like so. And then bring it up to the beach line. There you go. And then just blend those in, soften them up a little bit. And there. That looks like a little movement. Let's clean off our brush. And we can do the same thing with some sienna, where we take the sienna, this one, and we just streak in some darker value just to give some tone. So maybe this here, maybe there's some darkness here, maybe there's a little bit back here. There you go. Just to gradually take us into a lighter value, like so. Okay, that takes care of that. And now what we want to do is we're going to play with the legs of this bird. Now, the bird's silhouette is here, And there's two little humps right at the bottom here, which represent where the legs are. You could use this brush, and you could take some of this dark umber and go right on one of them and just draw a line to say this is going to represent leg number 1 that's standing a little bit on the beach and in the water, and another one right here. These are just going to be representative of the bird's legs. So we've established that. Right up here is a little eyelet right in his head. You could take this dark umber and just stroke it right across, just like so. And that'll help establish the eye. Let's leave it nice and dark. See, let's mix it in with a little bit of blue to get a nice darker color, nice darker value. See? And then just streak that right across. There you go. Let's wipe this off. Go in and make it nice and dark. That's fine. At least that'll show where the eye is. So now we have our legs and we have our eye. And if you also wanted to, you could play with the shadows down here. Clean off our brush. But we'll do the shadow parts after we've brought in more of the bird. So now we're going to peel. So here we go. This is where you take your spatula. You can go by the head. You can go by the tail. I'm going to go here by the tail and see if I could just go right near the edges of it and just peel up his tail. There you go. Just to get a little piece going. And then I'm just going to pull it up like this. See, I'm just going to peel them off. See, I'm just going to peel them off. And now we have the silhouette of our bird. And now we're going to begin to decorate it. And this is where the impressionism comes in, because the bird is actually going to be composed of 2 or 3 colors, which is going to be white, blue, and a light blue, which blue is blue, and a little bit of the sienna towards the base bottom. But now we need to establish parts of the bird. So we know that this is the bird's head and his beak. We'll come back to that. Let's establish where the feathers are going to go. And I like to do that by taking a little bit of white and a little bit of this blue. And we're going to establish that the back part of the bird, just under his head, is right here. So I'm going to make a little line here. And then I'm going to say that his wing picks up in this area. So now we're going to come back later and add some darker values around here, leaving the white breast for the front part of the bird and his head. So we're going to be using this blue and dark blue and some spots of white to establish our bird. So let's first go right along his back edge. See, I'm just taking a brush, going right along his back edge to establish where his back is, here. And then I'm going to leave some white open in the inside in here just for feather movement. So let's just come down here. As a matter of fact, let's take a darker value and start coming down here with that. So now what we're doing is we're going to leave the white and we'll add color to it later, but we're just going to play with a shape and say that the tail now swooshes all the way here in this darker value. So we're building slowly, so just stay with me. It's easy. We've established a little bit of color here. We put some blue here, leaving some white. So that's going to be our feathers. Now let's take the dark blue again. And let's go right along where we stopped. And then let's pick up from here and just start coming around to where we're going to say the feathers are on this bird. And let's come again here. And we're just going to use this blue again and swoop around. And we're going to basically come all the way to the bottom. But I want to leave another area of white here. So I'm just going to go around right over here. You pick your own white areas, but I'm going to leave that area open, and I'm going to come right here. It'll make sense in a moment. And then maybe back here. All of this is that darker value of blue. There you go. So you see we're starting to build it. Now let's take some white again with that blue mixture and just come right along over here and establish more of that lighter blue value. Again, I'm going to be leaving that area open. So let's say that it's open right there and right there. And this kind of goes up in here. See, and just blend those two together. And see, we're starting to establish our bird shape. That's the beginning. See, that's the beginning. And now what you want to do is take some of this darker value again and swoop it out just a little bit more to say that the feathers come here, right to here, like so. And there's our basic bird shape. So this is just to give you an idea of how to create that illusion of feathers without actually having to sit there and paint all of the feathers in. And then I'm going to show you another trick. Let's clean off our brush. Wipe it on a paper towel. Go right into this area that's kind of white and bluish and pick up more white than blue. Take some of that color and then just start establishing the front part of the bird just by putting it in, not to the edge, but close, and maybe a little bit right around here, which is going to represent his head. So you see how I'm going right around the eye. See, I put a little color here, a little color here. And then we're going to very softly blend that back. See? Let's wipe off our brush. Pick up a little white. And let's just go back over these areas now. Now you just want to take your time. You're just building a very, very light, very tinted value of blue. That's going to represent the head shape. And you connect that to the body shape. I'm going to come back and add dark blue to clean up that line that keeps coming into my picture. And that's good enough. And now we're going to go back into the dark blue. And I'm going to purposely come a little bit outside here just to clean up that line. There you go. And let the blue be really dark here towards the bottom. Yeah. And back in this area. Now let's do this. Clean off our brush. Wipe it on a paper towel. And you could do the same thing in here where you take that color and you just softly blend it. That water is going to mix a little bit and make this a little bit more of a lightish blue. Staying out of the really dark color. So I just want to tint over it. There you go. And maybe right here. This could actually be darker. That's fine. It's good enough. Good enough for me. Just going to try to sweep this a little bit. Softening this little hump. There you go. And there you have it. Now let's put this brush down for a second. Let's pick up this little script liner brush. We're going to go right into the umber. To that dark brown color. And we're going to see the beak, and we're just going to fill it in. Just the front part first. Just very lightly. Just start putting in our beak. Comes right back here. Excuse my arm. There. That's the beak. And of course it goes a little bit into the head. So we're going to come not to the eye, but maybe like a teardrop right here. And right here. And there. That's going to be our beak. See that? You could even take the umber, some of that dark color that you made, and go right back over that eye a little bit. Just to darken it up just a little bit. There. Let's try to straighten out this line. Good enough. See? Take some of this dark, this umber with a little bit of that blue like we made before. And we're just going to add some little lines to the legs. Just like that. Just because we can. See? You can hardly see them, but they'll make sense. You could even take some of that umber and that dark color with this brush and come right along the base of our bird and just slap that right towards the bottom. See how it darkens that up right there? It's the underneath shadow part of the feather. See that? You could even, again, take some of this blue, mix it right here. A little bit of this umber, mix it in right here. Get a nice dark color. And we're going to establish a little shadow line to the feet and go right here and draw a little bit of line left and right, as if it's the separation between his feet and the water. Like that, see? So now you planted his feet into the water. You could again take this dark color with this same brush, and you're just going to make a kind of a fake leg that goes here and here, and then just do a body, like as if it's connecting up here. And you're going to create a shadow in the water. That's the bird. So we're just going to stay with a shape that would be reflective of this bird standing in the water. Just some dark value. See, like that. Connect those, of course. See? And then you could also take this big brush and just kind of swoop it a little bit. So it's like that. There you go. As if it's in the water. See that? You could even take some white, right? And take a little bit of color and say that maybe this part is reflecting from a different part of the sun, and just do some motions like this. Take our big brush again and just swoop it a little bit. They don't have to be together. It's just all reflective stuff that's in the water now. And now you could take our flat brush, put some water on it, tap into some of this umber, and flip a little bit. Just to flip in a few little pieces of whatever, gravel, rocks, just to add that right into the beach. There you go. Let's take our white and just right along where the legs are too. You could just streak a little bit of this in here, a little bit of this in here, streak a little bit of beach water in here. Just taking it now and just letting it sit right by itself, like as if the water is running up along the beach. Even right here, a little bit right there, see? Just adding a few little pieces of waves right across the shadow. See? Now you planted everything. Everyone is looking good. You could wipe the brush off and use this brush again to soften up some of that color we put inside for the shadow on the body. Just to soften it like that. And your bird is finished. And just that easy, you've created Beach Bird. Well, I hope you had fun. Thank you for watching this video. Please give us a like on YouTube and subscribe to our station. And our channel, J Robinson Art on YouTube, so that you could be alerted to when new videos are being posted. And trust me, you can spend hours here reestablishing, building up land, putting lines in the beak. You could take this brush, clean it off. Just going to do this one for you because there's a lot that you can do. But for purposes of the bird painting, you could put a little dot, go right into the eye, dot a little eye in there. See, you could do that. You could put lines here. You could put darker separations here. You can just build this bird up as much as you like, because that's the beauty of painting. A painting is never really completed. You could spend hours and hours and hours reestablishing things, making things more detailed. You know, you can add all kinds of beautiful little stuff on your beach, different coloration, more wavy water, put some orange and stuff here for the legs to brighten it up. But again, for purposes of this video, we just wanted to show you how paint and peel can work for anyone to be able to be creative and explore your creativity. So again, thank you. Have fun. I'll talk to you the next time. And don't forget to subscribe.